The chamber fell silent as Ambassador Coral Matthews gathered her documents with deliberate precision. Her fingers, steady despite the weight of the moment, aligned each datapad into a perfect stack. Across the crystalline table, the Galactic Council's 17 species watched with expressions ranging from smug satisfaction to uncomfortable uncertainty. "This session is adjourned," Coral said quietly, her voice carrying none of the emotion that churned beneath her professional exterior. "Humanity withdraws its petition for full council membership. We will also be terminating our trade agreements, military alliances, and scientific partnerships effective immediately." The Virex representative, his chitinous plates clicking with barely suppressed glee, leaned forward. "You cannot simply walk away from your obligations, human. Your species owes the Council for the technology we shared, the knowledge we imparted." Coral's dark eyes met his compound gaze without flinching. "We paid for every piece of technology with fair trade. We fulfilled every agreement to the letter. We owe you nothing." She paused, then added with ice-cold courtesy, "Good day, counselors." She turned and walked toward the exit, her footsteps echoing in the vast chamber. No dramatic speech, no threats, no pleading. Just quiet dignity and an exit that somehow felt more final than any declaration of war. On the human colony world of New Prometheus, Captain Forrest Chen received the transmission in his office overlooking the terraformed valleys. He read Coral's official report twice, then leaned back in his chair and stared at the ceiling. "They actually did it," he muttered to himself. "They pushed us out." His second-in-command, a young lieutenant with worried eyes, shifted nervously. "Sir, what do we do about the joint defense stations?" "The Kalthari have been relying on our tactical support against the void swarms." Forrest pulled up the withdrawal protocols that Coral had attached. They were thorough, methodical, and left no room for argument. "We pack up and leave. Every human operator, every piece of human technology, every algorithm we developed. We take it all home." "But sir, the Kalthari will be defenseless." "That's no longer our concern," Forrest interrupted, though his tone carried regret rather than malice. "We offered partnership. They voted with the council to classify us as provisional members indefinitely. We're done begging for a seat at a table that was never really meant for us." Within 3 months, human ships began their quiet exodus from council space. There were no fanfare, no protests, no demands. They simply dismantled their operations with the same efficiency they'd used to build them and departed. The Kalthari were the first to feel the absence. The defense grid that had held the void swarms at bay for 6 years began failing within weeks. The human tactical AI had been the backbone of their early warning system. The human engineers had designed the power distribution networks. When the humans left, they took not just their personnel but their expertise, their innovations, their unique problem-solving approaches. The swarms attacked on a Tuesday. By Friday, the Kalthari had lost 3 colony worlds. In the council chambers, the Kalthari ambassador's desperate plea echoed off the vaulted ceiling. "We need Earth's military support. Contact Ambassador Matthews immediately." The council's high speaker, a towering Vrex named Thaxalor, waved a dismissive claw. "The humans were never essential. We granted them too much importance. Other species can fill their roles, but other species couldn't. The Xanthari Trade Consortium discovered this when their economic models collapsed without the human financial algorithms that had balanced galactic markets for years. The models had been shared freely, the humans had said, but what the council hadn't realized was that human economists had been constantly refining, adjusting, and troubleshooting those systems in real time. Without that invisible maintenance, the elegant equations devolved into chaos. Forrest stood on the observation deck of his ship as it passed through the outer markers of council space for the last time. New Prometheus was behind them now, already being reclaimed by another species. The humans had left the terraforming infrastructure intact. They weren't vindictive, but the colony's soul had departed with its people. "Captain," his communications officer called out, "we're receiving distress signals from 14 council systems. They're requesting humanitarian aid, technical assistance, military support." "Acknowledge receipt," Forrest said quietly. "But we're not stopping. They made their choice. We're making ours." 8 months after humanity's departure, Ambassador Coral sat in her new office on Earth, reviewing reports from across former council space. The news was grim. Economic instability, military defeats, Technological stagnation. Problems that no one had anticipated because the humans had been quietly solving them for so long that the Council had forgotten they were problems at all. A priority transmission arrived, marked with the High Council's most urgent designation. Coral almost deleted it unread, but curiosity won. She opened it. High Speaker Thaxalor appeared on screen, his compound eyes lacking their usual arrogance. Ambassador Matthews, the Council formally requests Earth's return to partnership discussions. We acknowledge that our previous classification was premature. We are prepared to offer full voting membership with immediate effect. Coral watched the message twice, her expression unreadable. Then she composed her reply, keeping it brief and professional. High Speaker Thaxalor, Earth appreciates the Council's reconsideration. However, we have invested considerable resources in developing our own independent networks. We are currently prioritizing relationships with species who valued our contributions from the beginning. We wish the Council well in addressing its current challenges. Perhaps we can revisit discussions in a few decades when circumstances are more favorable. She sent the message and felt a small smile cross her lips. Not vengeful, not angry, just satisfied. Forrest, monitoring the same transmission from his new posting at Earth's Defense Command, shared that smile. The humans hadn't destroyed the Council through warfare or sabotage. They'd simply walked away, taking with them the countless invisible contributions that had been dismissed as unimportant. Sometimes the quietest exit makes the loudest statement, and sometimes absence teaches lessons that presence never could. The Galactic Council had learned its mistake, but whether they'd learned it in time remained to be seen. For now, humanity had other priorities, and they were building something new, something independent with partners who saw them as equals from the start. In the end, they hadn't needed the Council's approval to matter. They'd mattered all along. The Council had simply been too blind to see it until the humans walked away.